Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, where today we are going to find the Archmilitant. We're going to get into this game proper. I feel like it's taking me a really long time to really settle in here, and I do apologize for that. Hopefully though, today is going to be the day when it all sort of comes together. So, the Archmilitant has gone up to the upper decks and nobody's seen him, and we need to figure out what the deal is with that. And also just kind of generally run around and enjoy the carnage, of which there is plenty. Let's try the staircase. The heretic's body is riddled with holes. An improvised single-shot gun lies smoking in his hand. And here's our master-at-arms. This is not great. The accursed traitor shot him at point-blank range. The master-at-arms is not looking good. Oh, jeez. Okay, maybe I should be more careful. There's a lot of gunfire coming up here. Okay, Mort, hey. I believe you are our man. It's a weird
Providence, you are alive and well.
It's a weird place for the camera to focus during that.
Always on time, eh, Kunrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Gee, how odd.
Mort, pull yourself together.
Kunrad pointedly looks away from the Archmilitant to you.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Mort pulls his Vox from his belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. Okay, our whole mission was basically walk over there a little bit. I thought maybe I'd have to fight something.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warped madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineering regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
Organized seems strong, but there is certainly a plan here. Who would attempt to mutiny here in the warp? I mean, probably whoever would want to mutiny. This is a great place for it, right? Because it is so hard to get communication in and out. And mutiny against the Emperor's anointed. Execute the traitors. You know, again, our character's got some sort of imperiousness. I don't know for this person. We must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Yeah, I think I like this. In the moment here in the battle, we're going to not logistics, but what's the word I want? Pragmatic. We're going pragmatic. Just like what is the next thing to do? What is the next thing to do? And we'll worry about the larger problem later.
First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once.
Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously.
Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on transitional deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
And then Theodora glances at us thoughtfully, and...
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Ethelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Ethelthrad's psyker powers.
Then it's settled. Find Ethelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
Yeah, you know what? I shall do everything in my power. Sounds like I'm leaving a door open for, oh, well, I couldn't get it done. She's gonna hate that. Hear and obey.
Then move out! Mort, come.
Okay, so lots of people not to trust already.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
Yeah, no, if you wanted to give me like a bigger gun and some armor, I would certainly accept it. I see no reason to make it clear to Kunrad how much he doesn't need to know that I don't trust him. I shall do. Lead the way. I shall make do.
Of course you will. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant.
Uh-oh. Something hits you hard with a sharp crackle, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. Okay, I have to say the turn was a little faster than I was expecting. I thought he was going to do something to us when we got down to the floor. I promised you a special destiny, Samhain. It is time to fulfill it. If a character falls unconscious, they receive a trauma. What a useful thing to learn at this moment. So yeah, I mean that guy had traitor written across his face in big red letters. I sort of appreciate it, honestly, like the simplicity of that.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. She has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber, and for that, I need her breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
I don't feel like it's useful to say either of these things. Like, we already kind of understand what's going on. He's with this bit about the visit to the Warrant Chamber. He's sort of giving the rest away. But maybe the character's a little slower on the uptake than we are. What is the meaning of this?
You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter. Very little is required of you. Just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the Warrant Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates to the chamber are guarded by the sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the sentinel.
So he said he expected to do this part himself. Why does he need my blood? Like, what is the point of bringing me down here instead of just killing me, right? We know why. I don't get to ask the question I want to ask. The character, though. Again, our character might be a little slower on the uptake. I have no intention of helping you. Doesn't really do it. Like, he just told us. He's just going to take our blood. We could try to deal with him and then, you know, look for the opportunity to grasp the upper hand. Yeah, okay. So which version is it then? Are we pretending? How much are we pretending to be in on the thing? Let's try this thing. Let's go full turncoat. Hey, look, I see who's winning here. I would like to join the winning team.
I may consider it once you've done what I need you to do.
Well, okay then. Let's do it then. It seems weird that just puts me back at this spot. Should that not move the dialogue forward? Because, like, to say any of these things after having said that seems very strange.
There's a good girl. Then go to the sentinel at the gates of the Warren Chamber and fulfill your destiny. I had hoped to feed Edelthrad to the machine. He is the one who caught Theodora's eye, after all. But since procuring him has proved difficult, you will have to do.
I do not like a rogue psyker loose on the ship as a tremendous danger to everyone. They were not wrong about that. Okay. Skill tests in dialogue. One of the available dialogue options requires making a skill test. Unlike with passive tests, which are made automatically, in this case you can decide whether or not to select an option, the consequences of which will depend on the result of the test. You know, listen, you've seen video games like this before. Once your character starts traveling with allies, the party member with the highest score in the skill will be selected for each test, which is nice. Obviously, we have an easy win here. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. Yeah, I should be, as I'm walking up, sort of just scanning for anything I could grab. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon, but your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in working condition. Nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight. Most unfortunate. Let's examine the device. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic, an incredibly rare and powerful piece of technology from humanity's ancient past. So for people who are not aware, part of the setting is that there was a sort of a great galactic civil war, like 10,000 years ago, during which, you know, a lot of knowledge and stuff was lost because factories were destroyed and libraries were burned, and we're still trying to recover from the backwards slide of that long age of darkness. And so you have stuff like this, precursor relics that are from our own civilization, just an earlier time in our civilization. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. This is a horrifying way to build this machine. Let's examine it again. The servitor looks notably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread, and it has metal hinges in place of standard joints. It seems the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons. Alright, I mean, it's obvious what we're supposed to do here. I don't think looking back is going to get me anything other than yelled at, so we place our hand forward, and the Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Couldn't this be just set up so that you could, like, cut yourself and bleed into a port, or maybe it could accept, like, blood in a vial? Why is it made this way? Several long minutes pass. The sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humus. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the sentinel? Or the cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Yes, no, I absolutely do require assistance. And
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
I'm willing to accept assistance from any source, really. Right now, I have no questions. Well, that feels like bad news for a lot of them.
There is still another way.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like I should get into the warrant chamber and close the door behind me as quickly as possible. Sadly, it looks like close the door is maybe not an option that's available. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer of the warrant of trade. And, you know, blah, 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 paragon of humanity, walk bravely first into the darkness. You know, it's the warrant. It's the whole thing. To triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of blah, blah, blah. For real, I think we should close the door behind us.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Hey, I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Voxmaster, restore communication with the navigator Sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
Okay, well, at least we know where she'll be. How about a weapon? I'm utterly defenseless.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
The servo skull goes silent, its relays clicking. Second after second passes, and you realize that the servo skull will not answer you. Fine. What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the warrant sentinel standing by.
Oh, okay. Well, lead me away from here. You owe me because of my hand and everything.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Yeah, I mean, counting all the guys it killed in the outer room, probably I owe the Sentinel quite a lot. Alright, as the game's story unfolds, you'll see notifications at the top of the screen indicating that the status of your current objective has been updated and that new information has been added. Yep, so we have J to access the journal screen. We have a quest tab, and there's also rumors and contracts, which we'll learn more about later. It's pretty basic stuff.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Alright, I feel like this thing could travel a little faster. The enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable. And he's just sort of preaching and then walking backward. Okay. This is the ceiling time. Let's have a look around the chamber a little bit. Is there anything else in here that we can interact with? It sure appears that the answer is no.
I'll lay claim to the
There's
stars.
a hatch over here. Hi. Okay. Can't actually move back here. Where all of our movement is blocked. All right, a simple order to the I have to manually order the cogitator to lock the chamber. I kind of figured it had that under control on its own.
Run, fools, or fall!
Mistress? Whatever are you doing in the Warren Chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this?
Okay, I'm glad to see that every option mentions that Voidfire is a traitor. Yeah, I guess let's just lead with that.
What?
He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of that plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor. I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Mistress, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Oh my god, fine. Yeah, listen, Voidfire openly admitted he's the mastermind behind the mutiny.
Saints' blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Mistress. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense.
Okay.
Here.
So a revolver, a sword, a little bit of armor. Very helpful. While fighting, your character can lose some of their wounds. Your character has suffered an injury after being attacked by Kunrad. This happens when a character receives damage that exceeds 50% of their maximum wounds within one round. Injuries reduce the character's resolve. When a character initially suffers an injury, it is considered a fresh injury during the first 3 rounds. Once 3 rounds have passed, a fresh injury becomes an old injury. The word old here being used very loosely. A fresh injury can be healed using a medikit without passing any skill tests. Old injuries can be healed with a medikit, but they require the character administering the treatment to pass a Medicaid skill test to succeed. Use medikits to restore wounds and heal injuries. When a character loses all of their wounds, of course, they will fall unconscious. Once the combat is over, the wounds of all party members are replenished automatically, but injuries that have sustained remain. These can be healed with a medikit. Medikits can only be used by characters who have the Field Medic feature, base skill Medicaid, or have taken Medicaid skill advancement at least once. Whenever a character uses a medikit in battle, a Medicaid skill test determines the number of wounds that will be restored. Okay, so we're going to click on Abelard, select the medkit on the panel at the bottom left, and use it on our character. Alright, we've got new items. items. Yeah, I would like to equip my stuff. Open your inventory, double click on the item, or drag it over. Yeah. We know how an inventory screen works. You can switch between party members using the arrows at the top of the screen or clicking on a character's portrait. Alright, so stub revolver, 7 to 11 damage, range 6, maximum 12, and it has a little burst fire attack, which seems cool. We also have ourselves a basic sword, 6 to 9 damage with 5% armor penetration. Yeah, the bullets penetrate armor better. What a surprise. Here we have some armor. The character wearing this armor will dodge 45% of average enemy attacks in this chapter. Oh, that's nice that it sort of breaks down, like, what does this mean against the types of enemies you're actually going to be fighting? And obviously that information has to be a little bit fuzzy. Okay, the medikit is not equipable by this character. Can we pass it over? Okay, so we don't have individual inventories. Okay, restores 17 wounds. Also removes bleeding. Removes one fresh injury. Okay.
Look no further.
So select you. We'll take one of the med kits and do the thing.
This wound will make a fight. That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead.
Maybe.
The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
There. So what exactly has gone wrong with the translation? Honestly, I'm not expecting Abelard to even be able to answer this question. I am kind of curious. We're going to say, how did you find me? But my guess is that he was not looking for me. My guess is he was coming to the chamber to make sure that the warrant was still intact.
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
Huh. I think the warrant sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warrant Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort.
Huh. He looks at the servo skull floating next to you.
The Warrant Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
Maybe it was just that the situation never seemed dire enough at that time. When it sampled my blood, it could have determined. I mean, we heard it say that it was obvious I was under a great deal of stress. Although also something about my blood being toxic. We'll figure it out. All right, the navigator's sanctum. Very well. Will you lead the way?
Absolutely. Let us proceed. The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. while the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Oh, seems like we have an opportunity to get started here. Combat begins with the tactical phase, during which characters cannot attack or take other actions, but may try to take up advantageous positions. Select a character, and yeah, this is like a deployment situation here. During the tactical phase, every character in the party may move up to their maximum movement points, but cannot position themselves adjacent to an enemy. Okay, that's an interesting way of starting things. So, can I see your like loadout right now? Yes. Okay. So you have that chain sword, which looks pretty mean. 7 to 9 damage. Chain weapons deal bonus critical damage. And that's it. So you really want to be... rocking people up close. And I guess I want to be kind of close to you. So let's just pick a side and cut to it, right? Preferably, I guess, the side with fewer people on it. I don't know if it's going to be like actually a problem to stand on one of the flaming enemies, or if that's just decorative. I guess the other thing to consider is that he's actually quite late in the initiative order, so maybe we want to be back a little bit. But yeah, we'll stick together for the moment. Alright, solid parry. Hopefully most of them can't reach us. Alright, the combat abilities of characters differ depending on their archetype. Available abilities are located at the bottom right of the screen. Left mouse to use the ability. Before the ability is used, you'll get to review its estimated outcome while hovering your cursor over a character or an area of your choosing. You'll also see the ability's area of effect. If the ability's effect is guaranteed to work, the ability's icon is displayed instead of a number. During your adventures, your characters will gain new abilities and talents as their power grows. These really are some very basic commands here. So, let's go ahead and apply You Serve Me. So anytime one of my abilities affects the servant, he gains +5 to all characteristics until next turn, and he gets bonus critical hit chance against people I have hit. Congratulations, Abelard. And then we hit him with the voice of command so that we get the buffed up version of that. Alright, you and me, we're in this together. Alright, let's see about Pistol Burst. First creature for every shot within a 12-cell cone. So how does this... Okay. That's really neat. So it doesn't show me Abelard being hit at all. I'm assuming that the abilities will try to avoid friendly fire. But this looks like it takes a reasonable shot at all of the enemies that are approaching us.
Noticing me was your biggest mistake.
There you go. Hell yeah, automatic weapons. Okay, this isn't going to be anywhere near as bad as I was afraid it was going to be, thanks to the magic of the chain pistol. Your new companion is a warrior. Abelard specializes in melee combat and drawing the enemy's attacks. Charge is a unique warrior ability that works only when they are using a melee weapon and is not considered an attack action. Use Charge to close the distance and deal damage. If an enemy is in the direct path of Charge, Abelard will attack them and still be able to use an attack action afterward. That seems awfully powerful. Melee attacks, of course, require you to be adjacent to the enemy. Melee attacks hit automatically with no need for a roll. The enemy will try to dodge and parry if they are using a melee weapon of their own. So, okay, people who are not using a melee weapon just automatically fully get hit then. That's a pretty brutal way for the system to work, but it helps to give melee weapons a really powerful utility in a universe where guns are very good. Okay. Melee weapons can be used to make area attacks. All creatures in the area will suffer damage unless they succeed on a dodge test or a parry test if they are... Oh, okay, so it seems the enemy will try to dodge and parry the attack if they are using a melee weapon of their own. I was reading dodge and parry if they are using a melee weapon of their own. But I think everybody gets dodge, it seems like. Well, okay, let's charge somebody. So 2 AP. I kind of want to like get in there. That's what I'm feeling right now.
I will do my duty.
And I was trying to do that in a way that didn't put me adjacent to an enemy. Sadly, I have failed. Also, I'm a little surprised to have killed that guy in one hit. I thought it was going to maybe take a little bit more than that. Well, we can brace for impact. Navy officer and their allies in a 3-cell radius get deflection. Can only be used once per encounter. It kind of seems like this is the time for it, though. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I have left myself adjacent to no one. I was trying to plot a path there that didn't cause me to take an attack of opportunity, which is why I went for that guy in the first place. But I'm a little bummed out to see that that did not work out the way I wanted it to. Alright, be careful. Companions can get hurt by your burst and area attacks. To avoid friendly fire, keep an eye on the trajectory of the shots and the area of effect of area attacks. Okay, and then I am up next, huh? Well, another pistol burst feels like the move. I could maybe back up a little bit, but honestly, decent chance we're going to kill 1 or 2 of the people who are in range of me. I think I can probably bear a little bit of damage here. And you can't be affected by voice of command again yet.
I've suffered worse.
Chaos guides me.
It does seem like they are quite focused on Abelard. Characters with melee weapons can make an attack of opportunity if an opponent in an adjacent cell initiates movement. All characters with melee weapons, including members of your party, can make these attacks. Yep, basically just telling me, hey, don't move. Alright, let's just smash this guy.
It will be done. I took care of this one.
Easy enough. Am I also allowed to charge? I am. Okay. You can do a post-attack charge. That seems awfully powerful. The order in which actions are taken in combat matters. This is very basic. Once a character attacks, they lose their remaining movement points. There's a way around this, for example, if the character has some way of gaining movement points after attacking. Yep, that is certainly true, the thing you just said. Let's run around here so that I'm not trying to shoot through my friend. And
Nothing I can't do. You didn't
bam.
stand a chance.
Right in the kidneys. You can advance the level of your character and companions. Prevailing in battles, exploring the Coronis Expanse, and completing quests earns you experience points. Once you've accumulated enough experience, your character gains a new level. Click on the arrows on the portrait to open the level up screen. Okay, your companions gain new levels at the same time as your character. Even if they are not included in the active party during your journeys, you can always increase their level later. So let's have a look at our options here. So we can upgrade our archetype. At this archetype rank, it is possible to increase character skills. The higher the skill score, the easier it will be to pass tests. Here you gain the keystone features of your archetype. The ability to grant people extra turns, obviously very, very powerful. And then, yeah, more upgrades around. Okay. How do I lock in that this is what I want to do? I was kind of hoping for a confirm button somewhere here. Yeah, I want... This is... Doesn't seem to be a way to, like, lock this in. This UI is a little strange. Okay, so I had to choose that and then also choose an available skill to go up, it looks like. Well, I think I'm leaning into commerce a little bit. I think this is like our thing. Okay. So that's not a very clear way for that UI to work, but we got there. All right, so is that all there is to do on Level Up? It looks like it. Oh, right. I should probably also do yours. So, as a warrior, you are also gaining access to the ability to improve skills here. And we're going to give you some extra athletics, maybe? Yeah, let's say athletics. And then to the navigator's sanctum we go. Here's a map of your void ship. It consists of several parts between which you can travel. Some parts are not available yet, or not yet available, but over time your character will be able to access them. So we are here, we are going there.
Threshold of the blinded guide. Doom comes from the heavens.
Master, watch your head.
All right, good looking out.
Would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. Their voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing.
This is Idira, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valancius. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the immaterium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer.
So this is all very disconcerting. What are you doing here?
The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the enginarium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master cog, and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the engine Seer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
Officer's frequency. To all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack.
That's Edelthrat. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelstrad's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it. You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
Yeah, the number one thing seems to be, is there somebody on the ship who can get us out of the warp? That's like all that really matters right now.
Oh no. No. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
Idira has joined your party, and she seems incredibly reliable. Alright, to select a character, click on their portrait. To select multiple characters, box select. Also, we can hit backspace to select the entire party. Cool. A fallen piece of debris that almost proved fatal to you. Without Idira's prediction, you would have remained in this corridor forever. Yeah, well, we're not sure that's not happening just yet, so. The door does not budge. Clots of viscous flesh have entangled the metal, sealing it shut. Oh. That's okay. That's very rad and also extremely terrible. Okay, you're just continuing to chant. Fair enough. All right, well, they're working on him. I don't suppose there's much to do here except just run in. Idira, are you equipped? Are you as ready for combat as you're getting? Okay, yeah, you got stuff.
Should I divine our next step?
So Idira, just kind of like get inside the room, right?
I'm at your service.
Abelard and I shall get a bit closer.
The Emperor is with us.
Okay, I did try to issue that. I did try to issue that order to both of them, but maybe the warrior tends to run forward first. Okay, so where does Idira need to be? I don't know. Behind cover seems wise, at the very least. And I think we can do the same thing over here. Abelard. So it feels to me like we wanna focus on taking down their psyker pretty quickly. Does that mean I'm starting all the way up here? This is a dangerous position. There's a lot of enemies around. But I do really want to take care of that psyker. Yeah, we'll just do this here. Give myself at least enough room to charge. Idira is a psyker and an operative. As an operative, she can study opponents and identify their weaknesses, and her psyker abilities allow her to deal damage to them. Analyze enemies is an operative ability which applies the exploit effect to all enemies within the operative's line of sight at the start of each of their turns. The operative can also use this ability against a specific enemy to inflict several stacks of the effect. The higher the operative's intelligence bonus, the more exploit stacks will be inflicted. Whenever the operative hits an enemy with an exploit applied to them, the attack deals additional damage based on the number of stacks and the operative's perception. Expose Weakness is an ability they can use against a single enemy who is exploited, which will reduce the enemy's dodge, parry, and armor. Okay. Also, Idira is armed with a special staff that allows the psyker to unleash psychic powers against enemies. In the future, you will encounter staves that only a psyker versed in certain disciplines can use. For example, you might find a staff that lets a psyker use Inferno, but to do so they must have pyromancy. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So, increase the target's dodge and parry by 10%. Deal 7 to 16 damage. This is our attack action spell. And analyze. The operative targets one enemy within line of sight. That target immediately gains +2 exploits. So everybody's afflicted by 1 exploit right now. She's got kind of a crummy melee weapon. And then this thing chains up to 4 targets, dealing Psyker's staff level plus psi rating, or times psi rating plus Psyker's willpower bonus. So if we were to do that, what are we expecting? 16-ish damage. Okay, that seems like extremely live. Let's forewarn Abelard.
Was it you? Or
that seems wise. He's gonna need it. And then like the Psyker's about to take a turn. If we hit analyze, yeah, I'm not expecting the spell to be a kill without a little bit of assistance. So let's add a couple more stacks. Is it going to kill you now? No, probably not. That's only 1 bonus point of damage per stack. All right, and it's gonna bounce to up to 4 additional people. Okay, but not a huge direction on the bounce. I would have been more worried about attacking the Psyker if we could have killed him on the first turn. You can use the medikit to restore your party members' wounds in battle, treat an injury, or get rid of certain negative effects. If the character has a medikit equipped, its icon will be displayed in the bottom left. If no such icon is present, we can use one by double-clicking on it. Okay, character can only use a medikit charge on a target they are adjacent to. Yeah, because Idira showed up wounded.
Here we go.
What is the ring?
Okay, so that was just that attack action, and it seemed like it hit for minimum damage. It is a real shame for them to have put a capable melee combatant next to us, because I was going to charge that Psyker. We still could, I suppose. No, actually, I can't. Are you out of range? What is the range on my charge? Moves in a straight line. Okay, well, I think I'm just going to try to kill this guy then. We don't necessarily need to get terribly fancy here. And then I can execute a charge on you. Oh, I thought I was charging to the sharpshooter, not to the space. That's fine. We're good. That was a productive turn. You can use the hologram to gauge the effectiveness of your intended actions. Oh yeah, we saw this before. Click on a space, and then you can evaluate your moves from that space. That is nice. So we're definitely too far out for being able to run up on that Psyker. Can I use this on you from here? I can. Okay, you serve me.
already done.
And I shall command you, and hopefully this will keep you at least a little bit safe. I'm going to move up to here. We're probably not going to do any cone firing. So not a great chance to hit either of them, really.
Not a problem. Opposing me.
But at least that one goes down if he takes the hit, right? Reducing the number of enemies we're facing is probably pretty important. So Idira needs healing, but unfortunately Idira has no
What is this foreboding?
healing items. I should maybe have spread the medkits out pre-combat, but too late now. Alright, let's stick a couple more stacks on you, and then just Lightning bolt, right?
But of course. Very well.
Who would have thought? It turns out those psyker powers are pretty real. The creature in the chair appears as if it has become one with its throne. You see pink, parchment-like skin stretched between the seat and the limbs that have too many joints for a normal human being. The navigator is breathing heavily, the air whistling as it exits through the two dark grill-like slits on its cheeks. The creature's eyes are shut, the two ordinary eyes, as well as the third one that sits in the center of its forehead.
I believe Master Vespider still lives. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive.
Yeah. I'm just going to shout at him from here. Hey, are you alive?
Your time is short.
The navigator stirs, barely able to lift his head and half open his normal eyes. A dark drop rolls from under the closed lid of the third eye and down his face, leaving a black trail. The voice is coming from the Vox grill at the base of the bizarre chair. It is unclear how the navigator is able to produce human speech. Okay. Wait, our time is short to do what?
Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn.
Suddenly, the navigator's body starts thrashing in place. It lurches forward, then falls back onto the seat, then thrusts forward again, as its bones crack and its skin tears open. However, the fusion between the body and the chair appears to be stronger than these wild impetuses. The mutant remains seated but leans as far forward as he can, his layered raiment slowly turning crimson. The gill slits burst open, forming two hideous, screaming, mouth-like pits. This is very bad. This seems very bad for us.
It came from beyond. His body is not his.
Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts, and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me.
The navigator continues to convulse violently in his seat, shrieking and cackling, but then his fit stops abruptly. His face is drenched in black and crimson. The dark ooze from under his third eyelid has turned from a trickle into a stream, mixed with the blood coming out of his nose, and there is purplish swelling around the eye.
Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp. But it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help.
Okay, turning to Abelard. The navigator's still alive, but barely so. What do we do now?
The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman, if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to fight our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the servo skull relayed to us earlier.
Vespidus. Good luck.
Idira reaches her hand out toward the navigator, but pulls it back at the last moment. The navigator does not give her a response. Black tears mixed with blood are streaming from under the closed eyelids, and the Vox at the base of the chair is bellowing out static, interspersed with distant echoes of otherworldly laughter. All right, I appreciate this is getting like proper 40k weird very quickly. So yeah, we very badly need to go make sure the helmsman is ready to do something about the situation that threatens to consume us all, but unfortunately, for me, that's going to have to be a tomorrow problem. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm finding myself properly gripped now. I'm into it. When you come back next time, we have some very big problems to solve, and we'll see you then.